We are live. What is up, everybody? It's good to be back once again on this live, and we are hoping that you will join in your numbers. We are back again discussing ways in which we can change the narrative of Africa. Today, we want to cover different topics, well related to each other, I guess. And we hope that you can be able to join us as we deliberate on these issues. So, what are we discussing today?
So, as the title is, it's Decolonizing the Black Man. Yesterday, we were talking about black, those colors that we were put into like two different categories, black and white.
Yeah.
There's nobody who is white. If you look at people, you only see pink to red, or say, okay, black to brown.
Yeah.
To
do we really have a black man?
No. Okay, maybe
I think
dark,
I've seen
dark,
very
dark,
yeah,
dark brown. People from South Sudan.
Is that dark brown?
Dark. Let's say almost black.
Yeah, now that's a black man.
And people from Senegal,
Ghana, some
people. Yeah, and we are proud of it because there are people who don't have melanin.
Nah. People, imagine if you have to go out to the sun, you have to apply sunscreen. You have to protect yourself as we just go.
Actually, being black or those categories, black or white, is in relation to the amount of melanin, the pigment that you have in your body.
So the darker you are, the more protected your skin is.
Exactly. The more superior you are. Let me say it that way. The more superior you are. Then you see there are people we call albino. They lack melanin. And what do? They're always wearing hats, So when we talk about the black man, we are talking about the person who is seen as, he's the most superior, but seen as the most inferior.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I think that is how they were able to colonize us.
Yeah,
just by making us believe that our skin is ugly, we are less of.
Yeah.
Yet our skin, in fact, I know for sure when they came in and saw that these people work under the sun, the heat of the sun, 12 hours a day, without breaking, without whatever. To them, it was like, how?
Yeah.
How is that possible? What kind of human being is this?
Then you remember, as we keep on talking, we say the first university was in Africa. You remember the richest person in the world was in Africa. Actually, the first university was around Mali. You see the Mali that we are celebrating, that it's waking up, was around there. The Timbuktu.
Nowadays, what were they being taught? Skills?
Mathematics.
All this,
astrologists. The best astronomers in the world are from Chad, the Sahel, Chad to Gambia.
Wow.
Yeah, if you go online and search for it, even today, if you went to the Timbuktu, that's it called Timbuktu in Mali, there was a library, a very ancient library that people would go to study. But nowadays they have moved everything because of terrorism. And we are hoping that things will go back to normal in Mali, so that they can return the library as it is. May probably build a modern library to decolonize the mind of the world. But that is what has been able to be saved. If you go to Google, they have scanned and they say they have saved more manuscripts in Google. But a lot of these things were banned.
Yeah.
And you know what happened? It was all to colonize the African man.
And I think it worked perfect.
And the first and the worst was mental. Yeah.
Up until today, we have a lot of mentally colonized Africans.
Actually.
Who, when you bring up topics about culture and whatever, they'll even kill you.
Actually, what is killing Africa right now is mental colonization. Mental colonization. Because imagine Imagine they colonized us physically. But during that period of forced colonization, Africa, we had weapons, but we never had guns. And if this person comes and tells you, you have to join my culture, you have to do what I want, and you say no, they will just shoot one person to kill the rest. So you like,
Probably
this
somebody
guy
close to your
is
heart.
powerful. He's a magician.
Serious. Yeah.
So people are being forced to be things they were not. And actually, if you look at World War I, after World War I, that's when people realized, damn. So if we have been fighting for this guy and he's been dying in the battlefield, and at the same time, this guy has been being sorry guys. So we all think that their things are better. But if you go to where we started, the African man had everything. Even mining was a normal thing. Farming was a normal thing. There would not be problems of hunger. Schools, there were schools actually, but we did arithmetics and all that. We farmed, we had food, we mined, we made tools, and a lot of many things. But what is happening today? We are only looking at the white savior to save us.
Save us from
Yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah. So mental colonization is the worst that has happened to the black man. Yeah.
Very unfortunate. But where do we start? Do we start with the education system? Do we start with a small child? We already have adults who
Yeah.
are mentally colonized. What would you deem as the best way forward? Is it the small child? We forget
Yeah.
about us old people who are already
We
mentally
are already mentally
enslaved.
enslaved.
We just continue. Whoever wants to change will change. Whoever wants to understand things a different way, they will do it that way. Do we start with the small kids at school? How do we move forward?
The big problem is if you go to any country of Africa, our history is not taught in our books.
No.
We are only taught snippets of our history. And that is like hiding the reality of what we are. This is a systematic way of, the education that is being taught in Africa is a systematic way of
hiding.
ensuring that we don't know who we are, and we keep on being told what we are and what we can and what we cannot do. But if it were me, I would say we first go into history and look, even if because in Africa, most of our things were burnt and all that. But if we go to our brothers and sisters in the US, we'll find that some African who was taken to America was able to do something. For example, we talk about chicken pox or smallpox. I'm not sure which one is it. There's this guy who went and taught his master how to treat it by getting some fluid from a person who had already cured and administering it. That is what we call vaccination today, but it was being done in Africa. They never knew. But now they used that to kill the Red Indians, the original black people of United States, the Americas. So if our brothers and sisters were able to do that, that tells us what we were
Capable.
and what we are capable of. Because things like, there are a lot of things that have been told, like treatment. You find things like even electricity, we took part in it. Even the toilet, among other things, a lot of them. Yeah. So I think the best thing would be we go back to history, we learn what we are, what we can do, what we are capable of. Then we teach our kids what we are. Then after learning from that, we change our education systems to be African. That means we'll be doing what our forefathers did. If it's anything modern like mobile phones or vehicles and all that, we can go the Chinese way. We learn and we start making our brands. Yeah.
As you're speaking, I'm being reminded of Thabo Mbeki, who was saying, if we are really to change as Africans or to bring about African Renaissance, we would have to ask ourselves a lot of questions.
Yeah.
One, what happens? Well, we would have to be strategic in such a way that we know or we have a way forward in all rounded. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in terms of education, what happens with our education system? If we are really saying now it's time to rebuild Africa to whatever we were or we want it to be, what happens to our education system? What happens to our arts? What happens to our... There is so many things that engulf the African Renaissance that you cannot just say it's maybe the languages, it's whatever. Because when you talk about arts, there's a way that our arts have been distorted or
misguided.
Yeah, misguided by Western influence and all of these things. How do we go back to knowing that this is the original African art, this is the culture, this is... Because I think you find maybe 1% of Africa has the original.
But I'm so glad that nowadays I've realized that into looking for my culture, I realized that there are people we call the remains of bullets. Those people who remained after the others were shot by bullets. Those remains are the ones who have been teaching us our arts. And the best thing that we can start with is our languages. Like we were talking about learning our African languages. After Burkina Faso said we are done with French as an official language, we are going to use our local languages. That is a big steps to starting reclaiming what we are. And if we can start with our languages and teaching our schools using our languages. Like China, if you go to China, they are learning using Mandarin, right? If you go to Russia.
Even for Africans who are going to study, you have to have a whole year learning Russian.
Exactly.
Whatever it's called. Is it Russian?
Yeah, it's Russian.
Okay. You have to learn Russian. Now, why can't we do that in Africa?
So if we can start with us, if like when I was younger, we used to use our languages for the first years of school, our local languages. So we'll be taught to using
mathematics,
everything, even English. The teacher would ask, "What is this?" And you will reply. Even when you're in grade 8, it was that was good. But if we can do that, then go back to our indigenous knowledge. And when I talk about indigenous knowledge, it's culture, our spirituality. When we go back to that, we will be able now to uptake what is modern. And when I talk about modern, I'm talking about the technology and all that, and make it ours. That is, improve it to fit our own, uses, like China did. And Africa will be a powerhouse. And when I talk about Africa, I'm talking about Africa and the diaspora. Because I don't believe that Jamaica is not Africa or Haiti. I believe they
can trace their roots.
They are all Africans, So one thing is getting our history, our culture, and our education system. That is the big deal.
And the best way to finish a man is to completely destroy their culture. If you go to Russia, there's a place, I think we're watching some video of this lady deep in the mountains, deep in the villages of Russia.
They still have their
culture. They will tell you women are not supposed to do this. In our African society, when you say that women are not supposed, they say it's gender-based. I don't know what. I almost say gender-based violence.
I was surprised because in that village of Russia, that was like the extreme north, the coldest places on earth. You would see them saying that they don't allow, kidnapping, marriage. What we call what we call come we stay here in Africa, because you have to go through a process. Hey, introduced to my parents and all that, then you marry the girl.
You do it rightfully.
The right
It's
as its
you have
culture.
to, yeah.
So that means they have kept their culture all through.
And it's still there.
Look at India. Indians have kept their culture, their spirituality, and that's why you are seeing Indians. If the biggest companies, even in the US, their CEOs
Owned
are
by
Indians. If you look at even the Prime Minister of UK, he's originally Indian.
Yeah,
As in,
running
yeah, because
powerful.
look at the Chinese everywhere. They are huge. Look at Africans. Because we
Such
are
an inferior race.
we have lost what we are.
Who we are.
It's like, yeah, what and who you are. It's like you are living a lie. You know what is living a lie? It's like you're not who you are supposed to be.
And do you know, when you don't have the foundation of culture and understanding who you are, things happen in your life and you ask yourself, or you even fail to ask yourself, why is this happening? Why is it not happening? You know? Because if you were spiritually or culturally grounded, some things when they happen, you always know, maybe I'm not doing things this way. Maybe I'm supposed, you know, you are always, even the guidance. Well, some people believe that there are no ancestors, there's nothing like that. But for me, that inner voice is somebody who has lived the life before, who's guiding me to say, if you go this way, you're misleading yourself, you know? So we are just living. The voices are there. You don't know when to listen, what to listen, who to listen. It's just a mix of confusion. And I always go back to that place in Russia, because when you look at those people, the way even the food they eat, whatever, they are all based. It's all based on their indigenous culture. And Maponga from Zimbabwe, if you know him, he was mentioning that Africa, if Africans have to go back to being who they are, they need to trace their ancestral, I think,
lineage, roots.
Yeah, he says ancestral footprint. Tap into their ancestral footprint or whatever lineage. Because what does that do? It reminds you of who you are. One, if you tap into, if you know who your great 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 grandfather was, you will tend to understand how he lived, what he did, what excited him, what interested him. And then in Southern Africa, we have something called the praise name. Praise names guide you. They tell you that you, as this surname or as this clan, this is what you do, this is what you eat, this is who you marry, this is who you don't marry, because they are guided on based on that. Who you marry, who you are not supposed to marry, what you eat, what you're not supposed to eat, people you have to be careful of, because there were those that sold you out during those wars. So you can't mix with a certain group of people, because even today those people will still sell you out in some way. And it was just a way of guiding us as Africans that this is how we live our life. And I think it was very powerful.
So in my community, in my nationality, that is what we call the tribes. You find someone with a certain name. Like we have a name for iron ore, and you know that kid is named iron ore in my mother language or my father language. Is named that ore. Sometimes you find someone being called metal, like metal in my father language, and that would definitely tell you that his gift, his ancestral gift, his skills, the skills that he's so good at, and they will always follow him, are those of iron ore and all that. Some will be named doctor, like the traditional doctor's name, and you know definitely that guy would if it remained as traditional as it was, that guy was supposed to be a medicine man, and a lot of other things. So,
and even today, he could still be a modern doctor.
You find but the problem is, you know, nowadays, if you go through our education systems, you find that you have to do a lot of subjects which do not lead you to becoming that. So eventually, you don't make it collectively to go to a medical school. So you remain a farmer or something of the sort. But he has interest. You might find that in our village, if someone is sick, they go to consult him because he knows a lot of herbs. So you find that now from him, he's named after someone. And you find that that someone has also the skills of that. So it goes through the naming. That is why you find I'm named after my grandfather. He's named after his grandfather or his father's brother, because the person you are named after is the one who gives you the gift. This ancestral gift, which we believe that, or we know that we were given by the Most High, and every family had those gifts in relation to their ancestral lineage. Yeah, so there's this thing that if you look back at where you came from, your ancestral lineage, you find out what you like doing, your hobbies, you find out what you will become most successful doing. You find someone went to school and studied and become an engineer, but he loves everything, taking care of people, pets, and herbal medicine. And if they look behind, their ancestors find 2 generations behind, the person they are named after was a local caregiver. Not I'm talking about treating, that's medicine man. So I think this is what we need to go back to, going back to the skills of our ancestors, but now uptaking them and using them in a modern way. If I feel like, I was supposed to be
a traditional
medicine man, today I'll be a doctor. If I was supposed to be a traditional surgeon, today I'll be a modern surgeon. Yeah. I was amazed when I saw some video online of a tribe in Kenya that is called Kisii. When the white people came to colonize Kenya, they found these people operating on a head. That was amazing. I don't know how I can play it here so you guys can see, but it was amazing. That those guys have already cracked the head open and they are operating on the head. I don't know what they are removing. Then they would say, give him some water. So the guy is drinking. I don't know what they used to numb him. But
this, and where all this wisdom came from.
Yeah, so these guys were like, the witch doctor, I don't know, can do this and this. So this guy there's a group of like 4 men, they are operating on some guy's head. Then they take a break after 2 hours. They go have lunch.
The head is still open.
Yeah, including this guy. Including this guy. So they go take lunch, then they come back. I think it was like porridge or something. Then they come back and they continue. And the person who was on the commentary was saying this could take up to, I think, 4 hours to finish operating on the head. The guy is still talking. They are still
and it's talking. Done in an open area.
Yeah, outside. And they are using the herbs. You can see a lot of leaves around.
Wow. And for us to have believed that we are indeed an inferior race and we believed that, it should have taken, I don't know what convincing, honestly. After you have all these skills, after you could treat somebody, after you could tap into their spiritual energy, and you are still told that you are just a useless human being. Hey, man, it should have taken, I don't know what.
A lot of.
And it will, the way it has taken a lot of convincing for a black man to be told that black is useless, black is evil, black is anything bad.
Yeah.
It will take years to reverse that mental psychology, because I think even our kids growing up, is it Arikana who was saying, a woman will tell the kid that, my daughter, you are beautiful with your dark melanin skin, you are powerful, you are everything good.
Yeah.
And then when they go out, the voices that are in their head telling them, oh, she's so dark skinned, she's too dark, she's whatever.
It starts immediately, the kid leaves.
Yeah, now imagine, she says that all of these good things you have been telling your kid for years, just one person telling them, you are ugly with your black skin, it can damage that kid as if she has never been told that she's beautiful with her black skin. So it must have taken, I don't know how much convincing that black is useless, black is nothing.
Yeah, it started with force enforcement. Like I can talk for my people here. So it started with, you have to join our schools, you have to join our religion, you have to join. by force. So once they join, because I have to join because they are killing our young people, and when they kill our young people, there will be no young people in the future. So, and there will be no community in the future. So once they join, especially a lot of women started by joining, the next generation that comes, like kids have gone to school, they are being indoctrinated into things, that are not us. Then it came now mental indoctrination. So in the end, you find that these kids don't even know what they are, but in real sense, they only know what they are being told. And then came the fight, the guerrilla war, Mau Mau war, and people are fighting. They are not teaching their kids. Then they are put in concentration camps. When you're in concentration camps, you don't even get time to talk to your kids because you have 2 hours to go look for food, come back. The kid is at school being indoctrinated in whatever they want them
I remember
to be.
Mandela crying that he never had time to raise his kids.
Yeah.
The only time he would see his kids was in prison. And then you are coming back home, you find your kids are big people who don't even understand, who they are. They have grown up without a father. A father is very important in the home, despite whatever we are being told about powerful single women. And for women who are able to give their kids time with their fathers, I would advise that please just make sure that the father is in the life of that kid. Even if maybe you've separated, there's something called co-parenting. It's very important for the kid to have that. And that is what is also finishing Africa, because we are being given all these Western cultures of single woman, powerful woman who can do it on her own. Well, that is nice. It's very good. But if you have a father figure in your home or in your circle, you would rather expose that kid, even if it's just their uncle or whatever. Have them have that manly voice in there, even if it's a girl or a boy. That manly voice, that is it firm to say this is how things are done, this guidance, from a manly whoever. And if you're a man, maybe you're a single parent as a man, also the aunts, all of these people, make sure that your kid gets both, the balance, because we are finding ourselves having to deal with what Uganda is now dealing with, being sanctioned for taking a stand against some things.
Because now you don't have a stand, so you are being forced into things that
you don't even understand.
You don't understand. They are not part of you. They are in future they will lead to some very
regrets. I think.
Regrets.
For some, it's regret,
because if it's impacting on our population, our cultural values, what we are as Africans, but you will never see them pushing this on the Arabic nations because they are like, it's not part of us. You cannot do that. Even
it's not even something to talk about. No, there are discussions that we can listen and maybe consider. It's just a non-discussion for them.
It's not.
Why is it a discussion for us?
Because we are not static. We are not. We don't know what we are or who we are. We have lost it. And when you are like a boat or a ship in the water, and the water pushes you, it will push you to wherever the water or the wind or the ocean wants you to go. That's how most of Africa is. But I'm so happy for those countries that are waking up and saying we're protecting our culture. Like I saw Burkina Faso and Mali in UNGA saying that is an issue for us. Don't even think about bringing it because we'll never uptake it. It's not our thing. We are talking about the LGTB issue. And if we are able to decolonize our mentality as Africans, as Black people, we'll be going the right direction, liberating ourselves. And that way, that is where we'll be able to support our own Africans, innovating, like Ibrahim Traore say, we need to start creating for Africa. not waiting for someone else to come and create. We need to make our own machines and all that. We need to mine and process our own. We need to farm our own food. And that will mean creating employment.
And that brother is doing it on the ground. There's nothing more powerful than somebody say something and do it. Aha, man.
Yeah.
And then we have presidents who just say.
So you see, with creating all this employment, we will stop sending our Malawians brothers and sisters, our Kenyans brothers and sisters to Israel.
That one is a story for another day, because Malawians came for us really bad. I think for them, the argument was that what's the use of keeping these young people in Malawi where there's nothing for them, zero. They would rather go and suffer in the farms of the Israelites in Israel. So most Malawians say that. I don't know what the feeling is for Kenyans, because we have seen a lot of Kenyans going to the Gulf, ladies going to
even
work as
Ugandans,
housemaids, even Ethiopians. I've seen a lot of Ethiopians
and
going.
actually Ethiopians go through the most dangerous route in the world, which is through Djibouti, Red Sea, Yemen, into Saudi Arabia.
So we still have those ones who use the sea, and those ones who are using, because when you travel Ethiopian Airlines, they are like this.
But now those ones, those are being done by our government officials, because the agents are owned by our government officials, and they are taking our sisters out there to be.
Wow. And you find that it's like every day.
But let us talk about this. And guys, I hope you are going to support us in this, because we have two sides. We have our sisters, our brothers going into the Gulf, and you find some died there, and they were brought back as corpses. Then we have issues of, like, just yesterday, President Ruto talked about taking Kenyans to Israel. And Malawi has already done that. But if I look at our education system, it's not something that supports us to be creators. It supports us to be slaves, let's say workers. People, you just given a task to work, but you are not uptaking a problem and creating a solution. We are not taught to do that. And I hope this will change in the near future. We are not encouraged to be entrepreneurs. We are not encouraged to be innovators, And even if you see an African innovating, for example, I'll talk about Roy Alela. He created a hand glove that is able to decode signs, from the people who cannot talk.
Deaf and dumb.
The people who cannot hear and those that cannot talk. And that would go directly through Bluetooth to an app on his phone, and you could hear that person as he does the signs. You can hear
It's decoding.
It's decoding. You can hear it talking. But since then, even the government of Kenya did not support him. He only got an award, I don't know, from US or something. This year we saw, I think, 2 boys from Norway or Sweden who did the same. So they copied and used that as their own. It's like now it's owned by other people. And these guys will get a big support from the government.
Of course.
And
it will be said that they are the ones who started. They are the ones who...
Even if they don't say that they are the one who started, they will get a lot of support, such that it will become a big company with a lot of employees. And then Kenyans, Ugandans, Tanzanians will start to buy that.
From the UK.
Imagine if we supported this brother, Roy Alela, to develop, to upscale this project and start developing so that we ship to them. How many employees are we talking about? That is creation of employment. But our government,
even that encouragement, that, oh wow,
Roy,
how can, even if it's not something that is 100%, how can we improve on this so that there's no loopholes? It's because I hear that sign language. I don't know if it's East Africa is different from from the others.
Yeah, they could, they could bring it. You could make one for the US, one.
Yeah,
It's
that's what I'm
only
saying
learning
now. How,
the
exactly.
skills. It's
Yeah,
only
how
like
can
code,
we for this Chinese market? How do they learn their sign language? How do they do it? Will it work for them? No. If it doesn't, let's make their own club. Now you take it out
like
to the
the way
different
China does.
Exactly.
Chinese will develop a toy which is
Made
for Europe, which is pink, and another one for Africa, which is dark. Yeah, that's what there's another two brothers somewhere in Kenya, in the outskirts of Nairobi, a place called Limuru, who started developing a system that you wear like a hat which connects with your brain, and they have for those people who don't have some limbs, so you have an arm for those people who don't have arms, so they develop an arm, and just by thinking it can pick anything. It even took water
knows
and
you want to drink
feeds.
water.
By just linking to the brain. Some months or a year later, we saw Elon Musk trying to do the same. Those guys had already done it, but is there anybody to support them?
No.
We could be huge.
Nobody cares.
Talk about a lot of things, even
the Nigerian
medicines,
girls who
developed that micro something purifier for water. It could be something huge that creates a lot of employment for, and that's what we are talking about: supporting our own, upscaling our things, creating employment, stop sending our people to work as slaves out there.
Yeah.
But now you find that our education system does not do all this. So what does it do? Some people will be like, I would like to be an artist, but through grade 1 up to grade 9 or whatever, you've never learned art anywhere. You never implemented anything. Then you don't like arithmetic. Like most people don't like mathematics. They don't like physics and sciences, but they just want art. So they are forced to learn this. And if they are not able to pass this, they won't go to the next grade. That means they drop out. Say they dropped out at grade 8. So meaning even if they go anywhere, probably they won't even go to a technical school because they don't have the credentials. So what means is that person can only go and become a farm worker. So sometimes there's a lot of sun, it's dry, they cannot farm anything. Sometimes they didn't even go through the training of becoming a good farmer. They are doing it the traditional way, which is boring, guys. It's boring.
Yeah.
And
it's nothing to look forward to. It's the same methods every day.
Yeah.
Same process.
So if they are just sitting there in the village, probably the last season was so bad, and now someone is telling them you're going to get $1,500, which in Kenya amounts to a lot of money, like 228k. 238,000 Kenya shillings, which is a lot of money. Even big people in Kenya are not paid that.
No.
So if you tell them, I'm going to take you to Israel to get paid there, so it's better for them to go rather than staying here.
Yeah.
And going there, experiencing, then in Kenya, house workers are paid between say 8,000
4,000.
Yeah, that is like
I was shocked.
$60. $60.
What can you even buy with that?
Yeah, $60 for a whole month.
Wow.
So if you tell them that you are going to make
to Lebanon and you'll be paid,
or Saudi Arabia, you'll be paid
even if it's
$500.
Euros,
they were like, and you know what they do? They convert it to Kenya shillings. 500 would be like 400. 500 by 150.
Let's just convert.
Yeah, arithmetic, guys.
Yeah, because that is how they sell the.
That would be like 12,500, right? That is 125,000.
Yeah.
125,000 Kenya shillings. Man, you don't even get paid that as a professional engineer starting to.
So if it's euros, it's something like 83,000.
Yeah. It's a lot of money.
Wow.
So imagine this person is used to be paid $60 in Kenya, and you're telling them to get paid 500. It's a lot of money. So they'll definitely go. And want our government.
Even whatever we say, people are suffering. That thing doesn't even cross their mind.
Exactly.
When you hear I'm going to be paid 80,000 Kenya shillings, the suffering, the whatever you guys are talking about, I don't even want to hear it. Slavery, whatever you are calling it, modern day slavery, deal with it yourselves. I'm done. I'm out. I'm gone.
I'm
And
gone.
people even cry for that opportunity because there is no hope. Our Malema says that the systems in South Africa have been destroyed in such a way that the government, if it's a government transport system like the trains in South Africa, there used to be very powerful trains traveling, commuting people within the rural areas, just like you have in Kenya, the one that moves from Nanyuki to Nairobi. Those are people,
to Nairobi.
You see, those are trains that used to carry people from the deep villages of South Africa to the cities, Johannesburg. Those things stopped working.
They are dead.
And he says that it's by design that these things are stopping to work because they want to start privatizing. When they privatize, they give it to their friends. These people who come to our countries to finish our system.
If you hear anything privatization in any country in Africa, it's a IMF, and they support that a lot. Yeah, and it's mostly because of those loans that they are taken by. So guys, if we are able to take our projects, take our innovations, inventions, and upscale them, we will create a lot of employment. We'll start paying a lot our people good money. So I was looking online, and we talked about our brothers and sisters who are taken into America, because these are the people who we can say we still have a lot of history on what they did. Because for us, when these people colonized us, they took a lot of things. If it's our arts, they took them away. If it's our inventions, they took them away. And they never left anything for us. They never left even the knowledge. They burned it out. They burned, actually, literally, they would light them up so that nothing has been left. Then you see, if you go to somewhere like Ethiopia, which is not colonized, you find that their original church was able to preserve. So you find a lot of things, but still,
the Orthodox, right?
Yeah, you find some obelisks in Italy up until today. So they were able to take things. But looking at our brothers who were taken, like one, there's the protective mailbox that was designed by an African American. There's the gas mask. You know, the gas mask was designed by Garrett Morgan in 1914. That was our brother. Automatic gear shift, designed by Richard Spikes. Then there's George T. Sampson, who created something else. There's the folding cabinet bed. There's a home security system, improving ironing board, refrigeration. Refrigerator was created by our brothers in the US. Wow. You see what
The capability.
what we can do. But only that we have been brainwashed into thinking that we are inferior. There's the super soaker. What is a super soaker? Yeah, that was invented by Lonnie Johnson, who was an aerospace engineer for NASA. Wow. Yeah. There's the traffic light. Imagine even those things.
Black.
Yeah, there's the automatic oil cap. I don't know. The automatic oil cap was invented by Elijah McCoy, born 1843, by parents who had escaped slavery via the Underground Railroad.
There's a South African kid who was trending some days.
There's one more, blood bank. Imagine. Wow. So these people, the person Charles Richard Drew is the one who.
How did they even think that we could?
You see, that means if they discover the blood bank, he supported a lot in medicine and also saving lives of people who needed transfusion. And that is just a snippet of what our brothers and sisters in the US were able to do. The traffic light was invented by Garrett Morgan in 1923, and a lot of other things.
So this kid says, the South African kid now, he says he's an Afrikaner. So if you understand that, you know what I mean. He says that Black people feel like these guys, their race should not be in Africa. Well, South Africa, that is.
Yeah.
They should not be in their country. They are invading, whatever. He says then why are you guys using the inventions of our people? You know,
Yeah.
we came to your country, it was just some mud houses, thatched houses, grass. We gave you modern houses, air condition, your refrigerators, you know, the beautiful
The
life that
refrigerator, the
now
one.
that is what has reminded me of this kid, you know. The life that right now you are enjoying is because of our people. And you are here now saying that our people are bad people, but
Yeah.
you are enjoying the benefits of their inventions. And that is because this kid really thinks that all of these beautiful things that we are enjoying as Black people were invented by
By
his,
their people,
you
their
know.
ancestors. And
So, how
another,
many kids, just I mean, how many kids know that it's Black people who did this?
that is what I want to say. Like, you know, they super brainwashed us, and there's this mental colonization into thinking that all these
Beautiful
were
things,
invented by their people.
modern.
Actually, there's someone who said that even some things were invented by our Black brothers and sisters in
But
the
we're never
US,
told.
but they were slaves. When you are slave to someone and invent something,
Brown takes that.
all the credits goes to
Mr. Brown.
Mr. Brown,
Yeah,
or
your
Mr.
boss.
whatever, Mr. White, or what. Then you see, so in the future we'll be saying, it was invented by
The Browns.
Graham, Bell Graham, or what was his name, the guy who invented the phone. But you might find that it was not him. It was, you see, and they say only that it's not very clear. You might find even electricity.
That's
was-
what I wanted to
was
ask you.
invented.
How sure are we that electricity was not invented by our
So,
people?
like, there's another list here. They're saying the folding chair, gas mask, traffic signal, automatic elevator doors, potato chips, the super soaker
Potato
children's
chips.
water gun toy. As in, there are a
Even small things
lot
like
of
children's
things.
water gun. Wow.
Portable electric hair straightener.
And Black people have.
Yeah, of course, they invented but because they are the people who needed to straighten their hair. Yeah. You see, there's a lot of inventions. We actually need to do a whole live on
What kind of inventions are people?
yeah. And only that I cannot remember his name. This guy was a slave who was able to teach his boss, his master, on how to treat this chicken pox and smallpox. And this guy took all the credit. But imagine we were able to take that and, because he got it from his home area in Africa. Then he was taken there and was seeing people die and was like, let me show them. But that is to say that there's a lot that Africans are doing. Even with these education systems, there are still Africans who are inventing things. But our biggest problem is we don't support them.
The support.
And if we don't support them, some other people uptake it and they go.
Becomes their own.
Yeah, they do it and it becomes their own. Even our art.
And once they buy the rights, Africans, most people will take the money in Africa because what's the use of me sitting with this idea? It's not bringing in money. It's not expanding. It's just this, useless. And there's a deal that I'm getting. Maybe I'm being told I'll be given $1 million if I sell my idea. So you find that at the end of the day, these ideas are sold abroad and no credit for some. And they'll give you some documents to sign that you are not even in any way related to this idea. The minute I put that money in your bank, it's done. This is my idea. I take it, I run with it. And our brains get lost.
Exactly.
Just like that.
And there's this Kenyan who invented, I think, the biometric system in the US. What is his name?
What's it called?
He was in the US. I think he'd gone there, not the legal way. Then he invented that and he sold it to the bank. What is his name? The one from Western Kenya. I cannot remember, but I'm going to say immediately I remember.
Mwale.
Yeah, Mwale. Yeah. Mwale invented a patent for two-factor biometric authentication technology.
The same Mwale that went to build the hospital.
The one who's building Mwale University Hospital in Kenya. Mwale. Yeah, he invented this. Yeah, a
I
patent
remember him
for 2.
talking about it.
Yeah, that is how he got rich. Now you see something like this. This guy was
right now he's
able
a
to.
billionaire.
Actually, we need to look for him and look for people who have invented things. Then we can, look for people who can support our inventions.
But when you look at his story, who gave him the support?
Of course, he was in the US.
Exactly.
But now, can't we do it for Africa?
Now that's
Guys,
our problem.
let us know. Just let us know in the comment. Just post a comment and let us know if this would be a very great idea for us, Africa Pass, and you guys who are our subscribers. That is our family. If it would be wonderful for us to look for people who are doing things, inventing in Africa, and then link them up with people who can scale this,
businesses, in their ideas.
Yeah, actually, we can, there are countries where cost of production is lower. We can move it there.
China?
No, in Africa.
Oh.
Like have a hub in one of those countries, because the big problem that we go through in Africa is if I produce a seat in Kenya or in Uganda, selling it to my people in Uganda becomes so expensive because of the process of manufacturing, the cost of power, labor. But if it's done in China, it becomes very cheap.
Very, very cheap.
So we need also to be able to influence our government to lower the taxes. Yeah, we can do that.
I think it will take a coup to get to that level of governance where people understand that you are not in power for your family, for your own benefit. Because look at people like Traore. That guy is trying by all means to make sure that the system
can we do this? Let's do this.
We look for Traore.
Guys, I hope you are going to support me in this. Let us look for our inventors of Africa. We go to TZ, we find someone who's creating a very beautiful invention that could make a lot of money. We come to Kenya, we come to Ethiopia, we find them. Then we link up with Ibrahim Traore and we like, Ibrahim, our brother.
Hey!
Como ça va?
At the moment, Traore has so many issues to deal with. Terrorism.
Say like, you know the good thing about this, it's young Africans who have seen him doing beautiful things and like motivated, who are like, just give us a place. We have our brothers and sisters who are supporters both in Africa and in diaspora, who want to be a part of this. And we want, as you mine your own oil, fossil fuel, as you process it, that plastic that you get, we are going to use it here. That iron that you get, we are going to use it here. And we are going to create employment. Then we need you to lower, because you'll be building a nuclear power plant.
I would say maybe after the creation of
electric,
yes.
Yeah, it's there. So electricity will be cheaper. Like, please just give us, like the way Akon was given land in Senegal, give us some land to implement all this, to bring these inventors here. And we are not going to solve. I think it stopped. I don't know what happened. He went looking for investors in China, and I don't know what happened, but I think the project is as dead as a dodo. I don't know. But I think we can do this.
I would just say, for now, I think Traore has so much to deal with.
He needs
from within his country, and then you adding on to his problems right now. Maybe that's the reason I'm saying maybe after the creation of AES and removing these borders, and for them making their, what is it that they are doing? Confederation. A confederation. Then that is when you can now speak with all of them and say, guys, look, you have this big country of confederation that if we could bring more of our Africans into this thing and our diasporans, and we could come up with something powerful and beautiful, I think then they would be able to consider.
Because we don't want, the only thing probably we can ask is, human, look at this. We are coming to create employment here, and we are not going to source it outside. We are just taking what is ours. You hear him talking about the indigenous medicine and all that. So if it's about making African medicine, we are not going out of, actually, even in your country, we are coming here to take those young people who know about this and giving them a space to do that. Then we are creating employment for your country and also other countries.
I saw Prof. PLO with some other people going to Malawi to start a similar operation.
Yeah, I think they have a lot of things.
So, okay, my question is, and they are working with the diaspora. My question for them is, me looking at Malawi and the direction that it's taking.
Actually, it's the president.
What convinced them that this could work in Malawi? Or is it because he was willing to accept the idea and open to run with it as a president? Because we need, I think for me, for an idea to really work, you really need to know who you're working with. What kind of leadership is this? Is he even working for his own people?
Yeah.
Are we even sure that now if we partner with this guy as a president, we'll be able to move our idea forward? Because some people were excited when President Ruto was coming in, Pan-Africanist, what. I'm sure some Africans were like, wow. Even people in the diaspora are like, wow, I would move into Kenya and start some businesses there.
I know.
This is the president that way. Hi, Searching for Africa. How are you, brother?
Hello, brother. Welcome.
Oh, how are you
Hi.
doing? Fine.
Good to see you.
We are doing
Good to see you. Good to see you. I didn't know you guys were going live today, so I checked my YouTube and I saw that you guys were live.
Oh,
sorry about
thank
that.
you.
Yeah. So today we've been talking about decolonizing the black man.
Yeah.
Because that is the biggest issue that we have right now. And we are talking about Africans or black people supporting black people in inventions, in businesses, and in making, our life better for us. Yeah.
Yeah, that is that is a big topic. Decolonizing the black man. I think it's gonna take generation, but yes, it's good to start. And like Marcus Garvey said, once you have confidence in yourself, you already win before the race already started. So it's good for us to decolonize ourselves, shed ourselves from this, I guess, white mentality. They change our name, they change everything. It's amazing. A few days ago, it was my birthday, and I posted on WhatsApp. I want to thank my ancestors for giving me a few more years or another year on the earth. The comments that I got, people were shocked.
Yeah.
My ancestors were the devil.
Wow.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah.
Wow. And happy belated birthday to you. But even in Africa, you're welcome. Even in Africa, imagine if you mention anything ancestor, you are the devil yourself. You have turned against God. I have never understood why people think that by you recognize, because we don't worship our ancestors. There's no way we worship them. We recognize that I'm from this lineage of people who brought me into this earth.
Yeah.
Now that they've passed on, it doesn't mean that I don't belong to them.
Yeah.
When I pass on, I'll also still go to them. So when you mention anything ancestor in Africa, it's demonic. You have totally turned against God. I don't know, anything bad that you can think of.
And to add was, when we got colonized, and we've been talking about our indigenous African languages, these guys were able to take some of our words in our languages and use them, and you be surprised that one word which meant ancestors was turned for the whole of Africa to mean
something evil, Satan.
Yeah. So if you say that I'm recognizing my ancestor, to especially to Christians, you are like, I'm recognizing the devil. Yeah. So I think that is one issue that we have here in Africa.
Yeah, that is a big part. It's kind of lonely at times being, you're trying to free yourself from colonialism and the colonial mindset. It's like you have to be conscious every day, the things you do, the things you say, even the things we enjoy, the food, entertainment and all that stuff. It's kind of it's kind of lonely, it's kind of hard. So
Yeah.
yeah, so we just hope, people can, but people are waking up, which is a good thing. I
Yeah.
mean, 10 years ago, I was probably like that. I'm the,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say a fanatic Christian, but
Mhm.
somewhat, Yeah, but
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, I can say that even here in the motherland, a
Mhm.
lot of people are waking up, especially the young people,
Mhm.
our age and below. You see a lot of people asking a lot of questions because we grew up being told that you can ought not ask God or the Most High any question. But nowadays, people are like, why does the things happen like the way they should be?
Mhm.
Why are we praying to asking some other people ancestors to pray for us when we also have ancestors? And these questions go on and on and on as people wake up.
yeah. And the funny thing is that everyone, even the Arabs, the Muslim, they honor their ancestors.
Yeah.
We're the only
Yeah.
one. The Indians, the Chinese, the Japanese, everybody, even the Native Americans, they honor their ancestors. It's just the African that
Mhm.
it was the way they demonize our ancestors. It's it's
Yeah.
it's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, and I think that was part of what we were talking about now, decolonizing, going back to our culture and spirituality.
Understand who you are, your
Yeah.
lineage, because if you understand, even for, I think when Maponga was saying that when you look, search for who you are, who your ancestors are, even for our brothers and sisters who are in the diaspora, when they look for their roots and they step foot on whatever land they have been told this is where you belonged, they are the brain already, it just connects, it reconnects with the food you ate, the smell, some of the smells that there's in your head. When you smell something, it reminds you of something
Yeah.
because you have maybe lived, and sometimes you're like, I
It's
have
like I've been
have,
here
have
before.
I experienced this thing before? But it's
Yes.
because there's somebody before you who came and experienced a similar thing and maybe has given you that
Yeah.
same recognition of things.
Yeah.
But now because you don't want to recognize them, you're like, it's just nothing.
Yeah.
And these things happen and we just let them go just like that. But some things would remind you of who you really are, what this means to you, how you should be, living your life. Maybe things that you should be doing that can even make you better than some
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ancestors, demonic. Now we can't even go back to who we are.
Yeah, I remember. I forgot, but there was a poet in Jamaica.
Mhm.
She's a dub poet, and she. That's when I start looking at stuff. She made a quote one day. I forgot her name. She said, "Because in Jamaica you have this huge Rastafarian culture."
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yes, he said Rastafari is the genetical memory of the Africans in Jamaica. It
That's it.
manifested itself because it just came out. The African culture just came out, and the African spirituality, even
Mhm.
though it is kind of based to Christianity, they were trying to escape Christianity, but at the
Yeah.
time, the information that they had, for example, reading was from the Bible, so it basically manifested itself in that,
Mm.
rather than and to introduce something like a uh, African spirituality at that time in Jamaica, it would be a very hard thing. It would be people would just run away from it. It wouldn't gather so much members. So you have to speak kind of the language that people speak, which is the only thing they know. They just came out of colonialism. So we got our independence in 1960 when the movement started just a few decades before, but
Ah.
that's how that movement started. So it's a way of liberation, but
Mm.
we end up in another in another situation because
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
just stick to the Christian part of it. they're trying to like rationalize it through Christianity.
We still have churches in Africa
that are like that.
that are
Actually,
rooted into traditions, but still,
yeah.
a
In
Christian
South Africa, in East Africa,
everywhere.
in Kenya, there is the independent church, which when the colonial people came and built schools and all that, and were told you have to join our religion so that you can be part of us. You can come to school. They were like, we are going to build our own schools, and they started their religion, which was like part Christianity, part indigenous. Yeah, there are people like that who were very instrumental in even saving part of our culture. Yes.
Yes, that is actually in most of the Caribbean islands. In Haiti, you have the voodoo mixed with with the Catholic religion and so forth. It's like that in Jamaica. You have the Poco Church, which is basically it's more like the voodoo mixed with the Christianity a bit. So I think that was the only way we can be basically retain a little of our African culture.
Yep.
You guys are breaking.
It's just in hiding.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry. Are we okay now?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Is there voodoo in Jamaica or just hiding?
It is in Jamaica, but we don't call it voodoo. We call it obia. I think that one is mostly from Ghana, and
Okay.
it's mostly
Nigeria.
from Ghana. Yeah, probably Nigeria. In probably in uh probably the Igbo culture. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that one. But we do call it obia. It's basically the same thing. It's basically the same practice. But in Jamaica, at one point, I think even now, in the law, in the colonial law, it is illegal to practice any of those things. It is
Wow.
considered, yeah, it is considered evil. Yeah, and
Wow.
even now in Jamaica, everybody fear the Obia woman. It's mostly a woman, so everybody
Yeah.
fear the Obia woman. They're scared. If something happened to you, if something happened to you, oh, if somebody over me,
Yeah,
casting
this
a
is
spell.
witchcraft.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
And I'll be honest, I've been to one of those places, and
Is she scared?
it, no, I wasn't scared.
Ah, okay.
But I remember she knew things about me that and some other people that there's no way she could know unless I was shocked. That got me scared a little bit. That got me nervous. Yeah, she
But
know.
it's the same. It's just same here in Africa. But for us, it's a man, and they're able to tell you things about you and your family, and things that you need to correct so that you can have a smooth life.
You don't have women?
Okay, maybe one in a million. Yep.
Yeah, we have most. Well, I've seen mostly women, but we have men. We have men.
And don't you think that's an amazing thing that we need as Black people? To know
Yeah,
our future and you know.
you see, African. For now, we're saying we fear it, but we respect it. Because the African will swear on the Bible, a man will swear on the Bible, but if you bring him to the to the priest, he will tell the truth. I'm telling you, it's like
Yeah,
it's in us. We're definitely we respect it more rather than the Bible and other religions. The, the,
actually,
the only reason why
when
we love these religions because we're afraid of going to hell. That's the only
yeah,
thing why.
Now that's where they got us very well.
Yes, going to hell.
This,
Nobody wants
yeah,
to burn in fire.
the
So
hell, the fire, the glamorous heaven.
Yeah,
That
you
is
know,
where
Yeah.
everybody gets caught up, and you're like, do I really want to go to hell?
No.
Nah.
yeah.
Yeah, that is where the problem
So
is.
it reminds me of Maponga, Joshua Maponga. When Ruto was becoming a president, he said, if Ruto is really our on our side,
Yeah, a Pan-African.
he needs to be sworn in traditionally.
Hmm.
Yeah, because if you are sworn in traditionally and you do something against your oath, you die.
Do we have any African presidents or leaders who are sworn in traditional?
No. You know, we have been
Maybe the chiefs.
I don't maybe in the chiefs in South Africa. But presidents, no. They only use the Bible and the constitution. Yeah. But if he could do it the traditional way, it means he's
You
genuine.
mess up once, you're gone.
Yeah, he understands how bitter it is.
He can't.
Yeah.
No, people like that cannot, because they know they are in there for the money, for their families, and that's it. Once they are done, they are gone.
Yeah.
What time do we have? I don't think we have more time.
Yeah.
Do you want us to round up?
Yes.
Yeah, so brother, we have been here for an hour and some, is it 15? Almost 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I don't know, unless you have maybe some final words that you want to say to our viewers, maybe you can have the floor. But we just want to round up today. We were hoping to come for 30 minutes only, but it has gone to these things never end.
Yeah,
Maybe you
yeah.
have something to say, yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys for the work you do. And just as I mentioned, if you're in the diaspora, you might want to check out African Diaspora Development Institute with Dr.
Yeah.
Arikana.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're looking to do there are a lot of investment opportunity. I've been on one Zoom today with Burkina Faso. They're looking for investment in agriculture. They're looking for basically everything. And yeah, this guy is trying to do a lot for his people, and they want the diaspora to come and
Wow,
invest,
that's
if you
amazing.
will, in the Americas. So
Wow.
that's basically
That's amazing. That warms
yeah.
my heart.
Wow. So who do you have that does ADDI have a representative in all these countries, or are you directly linked to the government? How does it work?
I think I don't. I think they're making they're having a cultural event. I'm sorry, I can't remember clearly, but it's in the end of March to April. January, February, March, April. Yeah, the end of March to the beginning of April, and and I think that's an opportunity to find out what they need. But you can also look and
Yeah.
invest Burkina and see there are investment opportunities in there. I think what PLO Lumumba did with Guatemala and stuff, I think they need to, reach out to, especially these newly liberated territories, to see what Africans can do. So they
Wow.
can
Wow.
mobilize resources and, because the country really needs a lot of the development in roads,
Yeah.
agriculture,
Mhm.
even mining. They want to change the mining sector.
Yeah. Yeah.
So hopefully somebody is watching this and look into it.
So if you're in the diaspora, brothers and sisters, you've heard what our brother searching for Africa is saying. Join in ADDI run by Arikana Chomborikwa, African Diaspora Development
Development.
Development Institute.
Institute,
Yeah.
Yes.
and look up and look out for investment in Burkina Faso. Burkina
Yeah.
Faso is the new country that has become
Wow.
independent, led
Man,
by
and
Brian Traore.
tourism, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it warms our heart because we know, and we were just talking about how we can collect African inventions and go to Burkina Faso and start there because we know that's a whole independent country. And
Yeah.
this is
Exactly.
beautiful.
I don't
Yeah.
know why a lot of African countries don't mobilize the diaspora. Get a way where your money is secured in a way where there's transparency. Mobilize a
Yeah.
few and just do project rather than giving it to this country, these people that they just take the money and leave. You know. And the skills are here as well. People have a lot of skills. Rather than
Yeah.
importing it from the east or the west, you can mobilize people here.
Wow.
So, brother, for you to become a member, is it a must that you pay the subscription? Because I'm seeing different subscriptions here and the prices.
I think before, no, I haven't paid. I think with the paid subscription, you will see like opportunities like that. They do a
Yeah.
lot of stuff. I've never seen it, but not everybody can afford that, in my
Oh, yeah.
opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Not that
Although,
I'm.
although it's very affordable. It's like, for example, the professional one, it's $1 per day. You pay $365
Yearly.
yearly membership, and you have a lot of things that benefits that you receive. And the fourth one is opportunity to participate in the investment opportunities in
Yep.
Africa. Yeah, they access to institute forum, webinar replace community. I think this is good. Yeah, this
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
And
yeah. A lot of people, yeah, yeah. I always advise. I always put it on my WhatsApp and stuff. Say, hey, please sign up for this. Please sign up for that.
yeah.
So
Wow.
Wow.
I just wish there was a way to mobilize our people to go there and say, hey, we're coming here. This bridge needs funding. This road needs funding. Let's, you know,
And it's something they are going to earn from because it's an investment. And
yeah,
it's also an easier and better way to even relocate from the diaspora back home. Yeah.
mhm.
I think this is a beautiful option, investment option for our brothers and sisters in the diaspora.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yes, yeah. That's basically all I had to share.
Okay. Thank
Thank
you
you so
so
much.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We knew Arikana had started a
Yeah.
project. Actually, they were looking at creating transport corridor from Tanzania up to Angola or Congo, somewhere. And I don't know how it ended because they were looking because there was President Magufuli of Tanzania. You remember the president was
Yes, I
very
remember.
good. And after he passed on, I think they felt like, the heartbreak. But I hope they are still moving on with that
Hopefully they didn't.
and among other countries.
Yeah.
And we also hope to support in one way or the other as Africans living in the motherland. Yeah.
Yes,
So,
I think even as Africans in the motherland, I think if we can get reliable people, there's stuff we can do on the ground.
yeah,
One of the things is that investing, for example, in Ghana, I am so I would be so scared to just put
yeah,
your money there and then something happened. But
Not.
yeah, we hope we can do something. Even in Kenya,
yeah.
yeah,
But if it from me, I would advise that we look for countries where the IMF doesn't have this strong influence,
Mhm.
because Kenya and Ghana, for now,
France also.
yeah, and then the French
Yeah.
the French have their own control mechanisms. So the Burkina Faso,
The
Mali, and
best bet is AES
it's
only.
AES.
Yeah.
So if Arikana has gone that long and she
Oh,
has all these
yeah.
connections with these countries, and she's the person who started talking about what French was doing to these countries.
And
The,
them realizing it and removing
yeah,
themselves, then it
yeah.
means they're in good
So
terms.
so I think this is it.
Wow.
This is it, and the Most High is leading us to this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think everyone should just go check out AD because actually with Dr. Arikana, she's the one who brought me. Well, not like brought me, but her message brought me to. I was in school and she came to my school,
Wow.
to my college to
Wow.
speak, and I think in 2019 in November around that time. And after that, I said, I'm gonna get to Africa. And 2021 I was in Africa. Yeah. Yeah, that's where I decided I'm going back to live rather than I'll go back to Jamaica, but that's where I want to say. That's where I want my children to
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
live.
Yeah. Yeah.
Imagine.
And now, because you told us last time, you already know you are where the tribe that your ancestors came from. You feel at home.
Yes, yes. Well, a lot of us we don't, especially in the Caribbean, in America, we don't know exactly. The furthest we can trace our name to is the plantation. So a lot of us they will name us like Johnson, Bailey, and all that. So that's the name of the person who owned you.
Yeah, I
So
was
those,
about to ask if you also have the same, like the
yes, yes. So I decided that by the end of this year, I will try to find a name. I'm gonna change from front, middle, and back. I do not want to have these slave names.
Yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah, yeah.
slave you? I, at one time, you on the plantation, you just they just give you the last name of the person, so you didn't even have a first name at one time. So you're
Yeah,
Johnson. So when you run away as a slave, you run away. They say, "What's your name?" It's Johnson. They know where you're from. They know who you belong to.
they can trace you.
yeah.
Yes, yes,
But and the good thing about
Oh,
changing your name from the back is that is the name you are going to give your children, so they
yes,
will have the original identity.
but
yes,
I think
yes.
it takes. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm saying that's. I do not want my kids to come with to carry on this name any further.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
it's
Hey,
very
that takes
disheartening.
goodness.
Hmm.
That
Oh,
must be, how difficult is it to make that kind of decision? Because we also have people here in Africa who are given white people's names. For example, William, say William something. Maybe the surname is African, but his name, the one that people call him, it's William. And most people would not change it. They'll just stick with it. They'll feel
Yeah,
bad that, yes, I'm called William, a colonial name, but it would be very difficult for them to
because of the
consider the
documents.
documents. The reason I'm saying, wow, that is very bold of you, because it's not just changing your name. If it's saying, I'm just going to call myself an African name, then that's it. It's easier. But if you have to go deeper to the documents, and that's a
Yeah,
lot.
that's yeah.
I
But
yeah.
for it to be
I
easier.
advise everyone to do it because and
Mhm.
if you're thinking about, don't tell anyone, don't tell any family member or friend, I made
What
that
to
mistake.
say?
That is, it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. Don't tell anyone, just change it. Yeah. Actually, because I was speaking, because I started reading Malcolm X, that's one of the reasons why he put X as the last name.
Oh,
Yeah, because he
oh,
said he went back to, he can only trade Little, was his last name was Little. So he only went back to the I'm sorry for keeping you guys so long.
No, it's
Went
fine.
back,
It's
he
okay.
went back to the slave master. So that's why he put X, because that he didn't know his last name.
Yeah,
Yes,
I never knew that.
but
yeah,
we know him as Malcolm X.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
So
wow.
I could have changed it a few years ago, but I didn't. I'm not kind of happy I didn't, because I was going to keep my first name.
uh,
I'm like, because it's my mom. I'm like, my both my mom and my dad gave me that name, so I said, let me keep the first name. But now I'm looking at it, I'm like, you know, I just want to throw everything away. I
yeah,
just just
and
throw it
and
away.
and if you have to keep it, look for a name with the same meaning, but from
Yeah, and from an African
yeah,
origin. Yeah.
yeah,
Whatever name you have right now, you can just change it to an African.
yeah, but with the
Yeah.
same
Translate
meaning,
it.
so you won't have changed everything, like what they
Yeah.
felt or what they meant when
Mm-hmm.
they gave you
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Most of us, we don't even know what our name mean. As for me, I know
Mean.
it because
That's
it's
what
in.
I wanted to ask you. Do you even know the meaning? Because you find that it's just a name with no meaning, nothing. It's only in Africa that you can
Yeah.
trace the meaning of your
Yeah,
name, whatever the circumstance. Because naming is not just naming.
yeah,
Like,
it's a
oh,
lot.
wow, yeah.
I will
Wow, all
not
the best, brother.
I will not say my name, but I know the meaning of both my names. My last
Mm.
name is a title in England.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So the British colonized Jamaica, had slave in Jamaica. So my name is basically a title, like a
Oh.
royal, like a chief.
Hmm.
I will not
Mm.
say that my first name is a Europe. It's like a nationality in Europe, like what
Wow.
they would call that person. So
Mm-hmm.
so I'm like, yeah, I really need to change.
Yeah.
Change.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's bold of you,
Yeah.
man. Hey, that's a
So
difficult
all the
one.
best, brother.
Yeah,
Wow.
thank you.
we will be there when you change and to call you the new name.
You know, in Kenya, are you still there?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Yeah, in Kenya, for something like that, they'll have to not slaughter.
A goat.
You have to have a goat. There's a ceremony, a whole big ceremony
Yeah.
for naming and maybe changing your name. So I don't know how it's gonna happen wherever you're gonna do it, because it's not just now you deciding to say I'm gonna call myself this name and then that's it.
Yeah, one of the things I say I want the most African sounding name, especially first name. I want people to struggle to pronounce it when they pronounce it. I want you to
Sorry.
pause before you pause before and pause in the middle. Take a deep breath after you finish.
Amazing.
No, get a Nigerian name. That one would do.
Ogechuku.
I like the Igbo names because I think there's a strong Igbo where I'm from in Jamaica. So I like the Igbo names because they're
Yeah.
normally long and
Difficult.
hard to pronounce. So
Yeah, get that one.
Yeah.
All right, brother. I don't know. I think we have to call it a night.
Okay,
It's already
okay.
almost midnight here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for raising
Okay.
our knife. It's always
Yeah.
fun to have you around.
Next time we will ensure that we plan
alert.
it.
Yeah.
Before we do it, so that you can
Schedule yourself. You know, people are busy.
And
Yeah.
thank you for joining us.
Sure. Have a good
Thank
night
you so
too.
much.
Yeah.
You have a good. I don't know what time is it.
It is 3:50 p.m. in the East Coast.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Have a good evening, afternoon.
It's 11:50 here.
Yeah, almost midnight.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.
Hopefully, we'll see you in the next one on Saturday.
Saturday, yeah. Thank you so much.
Sure. All right. Cheers.
Mashallah. So, guys, join ADDI. It's our ADDI.org and come invest in Burkina Faso, Mali, or Niger.
Wow.
And we see you next Saturday. Bye-bye.